sitting with Mr. James Snow. Mr. Snow is the Assistant Director for the Public Works Department within the City of Austin. As a member of the executive team, he oversees the management of development of financial services, information technology, business intelligence, and the strategic development services for the department. James, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to myself and the Baylor MBA program today. I'd like to review a couple concepts we've learned within our strategic management business policy class with you.
Okay.
A key topic we discussed in this class was aligning our strategy with our mission and vision statements. I know that within the City of Austin, the mission is to be the best managed city, and the vision is to do this while being affordable for our citizens. As the executive over multiple divisions within the department, what things do you implement in your strategic plan to achieve both of these goals, and who do you consider your major customer?
Well, before answering this question, I'd like to say I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and your fellow classmates about strategic planning today. I have had the opportunity over the last 27 years to have a broad experience both in the private and public sector, that being from military, technology sector, operations, civil engineering, and construction, mergers, acquisitions, and finally to the job that I held today for the last 7 years. My answers today will probably be focused on my current job, but I will probably draw on some of my experience. Now, in answering your question, it can be a challenge trying to best manage to affordability. But what I'd like to do first in answering your question is let's start with the second part, which is who do I consider my major customer?
Okay.
And that's pretty easy. That's citizens of Austin. Even though some people say, well, city council and other things like that, realistically, I have one main customer and a whole bunch of stakeholders. City council actually is a representative body of those citizens. So that's who I figure or focus on as far as who our customer is. Now I want to get back to the best managing the vision of being affordable. The reason why it's a challenge is all in perceptions. You have to look at, with those citizens in a diverse population, each of them have a different definition of best managed and affordable. Also what it's based on is service delivery, because what are you willing to pay for? Just like in the private sector, it's like what's important to you. Some people, and what's funny is with such a diverse population, everybody wants to spend money on sidewalks, everybody wants to spend money on parks, everybody wants to spend money on affordable housing. What happens is all those tally up at the end and say, well, how can I be affordable when you want me to deliver all these services? Our strategic plan specifically, what we focus on to address these two issues is, first of all, we look at business processes. How can we be more efficient? So we have our programs and we align ourselves in programs, and we always look each year through our annual business process and business planning process to say, how can we do better? How we can be more efficient. But efficiency is only one part of the equation. Now you go to affordable. And we try to look at efficiencies and affordability. One, as I said before, what do the citizens want? Because when you have all these wants and you have a limited amount, you have to pay for it somehow. Second is when you look at that as far as affordability, is what we try to do is we try to actually look at how to be efficient. And what we try to do is balance those needs. Each year we look at it. This year's business planning process, we actually had $14 million worth of needs, extra needs than what we planned on, but then we work as a strategic team to say, how can we get that down? But it always comes back to level of service and what the customers want.
Thank you. In our class, we talked about the new idea of organizational structure and how they are changing in the world of business today. The typical structure that we know of now is a hierarchy or the top-down approach. Typically, this is where there's a CEO and there's a tree filtering down of all his subordinates. Recent studies had stated that this structure actually needs to be archived, and there's no place for this in the new world of business. Instead, they have 4 different structures that they recommend. One is flat, which includes basically no structure whatsoever. There's no management, there's no leadership, everyone's on the same page, and everyone can join anyone's work at any point in time. There are no really hard deadlines, it's just collaborative movement. The theory is that creativity and inspiration will just deliver. Then there is a flatter approach, which still mirrors the hierarchy approach of a top-down, but the lines of communication are open. So the busy bee worker can talk to the CEO at any point in time, and the open communication is all over the place so that you can skip steps, but there still has that hierarchy approach. Then the last 2 new structures are basically the same as the flat or the flatter, they're just now groups of teams. So you have either no structure whatsoever with lots of teams doing things, or you still have a semi-form of organizational structure with teams of CEOs and upper managements and teams of the workers. What do you think your current structure is like, and does it work best for you in the department? If not, what do you think would work best for the department and why?
In my 25 years experience, especially in mergers acquisitions, I learned there's many ways to manage. But some of the key tenets or the key measure is delivering results or outcomes. The way you organize is based on your leadership and management. It all comes back to what do you want to deliver and how do you think is the most efficient way to organize and lead to deliver that. Executives or leaders lead people and manage processes. An organization is structured based usually on the leadership style of the lead executive, but also on the service or product being delivered. For example, the technology industry, the flat approach that you mentioned works well because it's usually creative teams coming together, either focus on an initiative or or product delivery. What I used to call that is a weak matrix approach, which some organizations still use. The other thing is, however, in an operational setting, like a municipality, a top-down usually works better, but even over the years, it's gotten a little bit flatter. All of the key elements or drivers in an organization, in any organization, is span and control, service complexity and diversity, and human capital management. Those are what drive you to form the leadership style or the organizational style that you need to do. Another example in operations is when you deal with small crews or service delivery, then span and control comes aboard. Human capital is the way that maybe you have a multi-tiered approach and that you need to deal with career progression. So each of these are drivers, but again, it depends on the industry and also the product in which you're delivering. In our department, we have a mix. HubWorks is probably one of the flatter departments in the city. In our technology group, which I have 5 leads, but they utilize the team approach, like you mentioned with the flat. They're always focusing on initiatives and they work together and leverage each other's strengths. In our operations group, we have a better defined span of control, but they do break down in teams or cross-utilize resources to achieve service outcomes. So just again, it all bases on the leadership style and also the product in which you're delivering.
James, a key emphasis was made throughout the class that creativity and collaboration are key roles in the success of our future. One argument among marketing and strategic theorists is that creativity can be taught. In order for it to be taught, executives or management level professionals need to invest their money, time, and other resources in this initiative. Do you believe that creativity can be taught? Do you currently have some sort of investment within your department specifically for or to enhance creativity? And if yes, could you share some of your ideas or practices with us?
Okay. Well, this question I think would be a little bit broader at first in answering it. In my 27 years, I do believe, looking at all the different situations I've been in, I do believe you can make people think more creatively in solving a problem, but I do believe the trait of creativity is something that you're born with.
I love that you said that answer because that's exactly how I responded in my class.
And now, but let me tell you at Public Works what we actually do, because we invest in creativity here. We think it's important. First of all, it starts with the environment. We believe in empowering our employees and reducing the fear of failure. Those are 2 essential traits to have a creative environment for creative problem solving. It establishes a nurturing environment to creativity. Second, the department actually has an innovation forum. Our director uses this forum as to look outside the box. What he actually does is give an assignment each year and asks them to try to solve it. And look at all the different ways. And actually we bring a diverse group of individuals from millennials to baby boomers to operations to IT people to human resource, and bring them all in the room and creatively look at the question and the problem and try to solve it. We even, it's funny is that we're talking about strategic planning. There's not their last meeting, the meeting before that, I actually went over our strategic and business planning process with them and how we do it as a department.
Do you find that that forum is successful? Some of the topics in our class talk about how those forums could be both good and bad. Some people love them and they really dive deep into it, and other times people feel like it's a waste of their time. They could just be working.
Well, it's all about leadership. What does the leaders do with that? And actually what we can show you is some of the things, we actually take some of the ideas. One of the ideas that came out of our creative nature is like the NPP, which is the Neighborhood Partnering Program, which we actually looked at different ways to deliver services to the neighborhoods and actually bring them into the equation. We do stress ourselves on, one of the things that you have to utilize creativity in municipal service is the fact of we don't have all those resources. Everybody thinks that trying to be affordable, you have to be creative. And so we look at what's a better way or ways that we can accomplish and still get the outcomes in which our citizens want, but not spend as much money. So we're always looking at a way to how to better do it. And it's part of performance management, performance measurement, and also creativity.
Thank you.